Did Shanquella's friends really lure her to Cabo with the intention to hurt her and plan her death?
When they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
Even though it has been weeks since Shanquella Robinson has passed away, the entire internet is still angry and demanding answers. And just when we thought there was no way that this case could get any worse, the authorities have released some new details and evidence that suggest her death was not an accident and was in fact planned by her own friends. But why did they hate Shanquella that much? Why did they really do it? And what is the FBI saying about this tragedy? Shanquella Robinson's death has thrown the entire community into confusion in the weeks following the incident. For those who haven't been following the story, we're gonna give you a quick breakdown of the case before we get into the latest details. Shanquella went with 6 friends to Cabo, Mexico for a birthday trip for one of their friends. They left from North Carolina, and Shanquella was in perfect health when she left. The friends she left with were Malik Dyer, Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Dejanay Jackson, her best friend Khalil Cook, and Nazir Wiggins. But Nazir has come forward to claim that he arrived in Cabo a day after the rest of the group and that he wasn't there when the events occurred that led to her death. According to Shanquella's mother, Khalil called her the day after they landed in Cabo to tell her that Shanquella had drunk too much and had alcohol poisoning, so she wasn't feeling too well. He later called back to tell her that medical staff were in their room and were trying to resuscitate Shanquella. And when she passed away, he then told her that the resuscitation attempts had not been successful. Khalil and the rest of the group decided to cut their holiday trip short and return home to North Carolina. And the most bizarre thing is that they left Shanquella's body in Mexico, but they took her luggage with them, and Khalil dropped it off at her parents' house. In a recent interview, her mother revealed that Khalil had continued to lie to her when he dropped off her luggage, still claiming that she died from alcohol poisoning.
When they got back from the trip with her luggage, what did they tell you happened to your daughter?
That she got sick from drinking. It was alcohol.
Now, Khalil used to hang out with her family a lot, so the family knew and trusted him. Even when he got back from Cabo, he would come around the family a lot. But all this changed when the autopsy result came out.
When was the last time you heard from him?
I haven't heard from him since the autopsy came back. And that's been about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when the autopsy first came back. And I haven't heard from him since.
Before we get to the autopsy and how it exposed Khalil and the rest of the friend group, we need to talk about a police report that claimed that her friends had told medical staff that she had drunk lots of alcohol and that she was found dehydrated.
A police report from the day she died says guests at the resort called for medical help, claiming she had drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor said she was, quote, stable but dehydrated, adding that the guests refused to bring her to a hospital. The police report said she went into cardiac arrest and was declared dead at 6 p.m.
According to this, her friends had refused to take medical advice to take her to the hospital. And this should have raised red flags with the medics that were attending to that situation. But from what we know now, her friends probably lied to the medics about the alcohol poisoning, and the medics didn't probe further. In fact, before her autopsy results came out, the Mexican authorities treated it as an accidental death and didn't investigate further. But then the autopsy contradicted everything about the police report, down to her time of death. According to the police report, she passed away around 6 p.m., but her autopsy refutes this because it lists her time of death as 3 p.m. Now, it's normal to have some time lapse in determining the time of death, but a 3-hour difference is just too much, and it suggests that the police report might not be completely correct. Also, the autopsy listed her cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlantoaxial subluxation, which is a condition where unstable or excessive movement is present in the first 2 vertebrae of the neck, and it suggested that Shanquella had been the victim of physical attack. Interestingly, the autopsy made no mention of alcohol in her system, and people have pointed out that if she indeed taken enough alcohol to get alcohol poisoning, then it should have shown up on the autopsy. This further proved that her friends were lying and were trying to cover up.